All right, in this video, I'm going to show you the three most common mistakes that media buyers make and show you what things you should be focusing on instead that actually move the needle for your client campaigns. So first thing is media buyers tend to focus on the wrong things in testing. So many times I've gone to ad accounts, I've audited campaigns and seen a way too heavy of an emphasis on the audiences. That's the number one. It's the easiest thing to try to slice and dice for media buyers. I think there's a preconceived notion that, well, if I just get my targeting right, that's going to solve everything in the campaign. And that's not true. In fact, audience testing for me comes later. What I first test far more heavily than audiences is messaging, ad creative. So my image or video that I'm using in the ad itself. And once I get a proven ad that is working consistently, then I'll start to test out my audiences. But for the most part, you get a big audience, your target audience is in there. You have an audience size, let's say 10, 15, 20 million. Your people are going to be in there. The algorithm of these days has gotten so much more intelligent than it was a couple of years ago that broad targeting is way more viable, way more feasible than it ever was. And we don't need to try to outsmart the algorithm through these fancy audience tests when in fact Facebook wants us to prioritize the ad, the user experience. It's always been Facebook's number one objective, number one priority is the user experience. So let's play into that. The algorithm will favor us with lower CPMs and lower CPAs. Not allocating budget properly for testing. So what this means is they're not testing enough with lower budgets, and maybe all the budget is going into the main conversion campaign. And that's where the third bullet comes in, is testing unproven ads in these scaling campaigns. So structuring your ad account in such a way that you've got, let's say 20% of your budget going to a conversion campaign, but in a way that you're still testing and validating new ideas before you're sending them to a campaign with the bulk of your budget. Next, one of the mistakes that media buyers make is not looking at full funnel metrics. So many people are like, well, the CTR is fantastic. Oh, look at my CPM, look at my CPC. None of those things matter if you have a high cost per purchase or a high cost per lead. And part of what makes that a high cost per lead has nothing to do with the ads themselves. Maybe the landing page is slow to load. Maybe out of all your clicks, out of 100 clicks, if only 20% of them are making it a landing page, yeah, you're going to have a high CPL or CPA, and nothing that you do on the front end is going to fix that. So if you're focusing fully on the front end metrics and not the full funnel metrics, huge mistake by a media buyer. So these are some of the things you want to look at. Hey, how many of our clicks are turning into landing page views? How many of those landing page views are then going to the next step of the funnel? Maybe it's the opt-in for a lead gen, or maybe it's initiate checkout for e-com. And so every step of the journey from ad to purchase or ad to lead, you need to be looking at those numbers. Well, and your media buyer definitely should be looking at those numbers, because the media buying does not stop with the ad. It goes to the entire funnel. So those are some of the numbers that they should be looking at. They should be able to use those numbers of the full funnel metrics to spot bottlenecks and then offer solutions to them. And so if a lot of your clicks are not turning to landing pages, well, what's the solution? Hey, let's check the load speed of this landing page. Why is our bounce rate so high? Typically, the issue is a low or a slow loading lander. Hey, let's fix this with in the form of more compressed images that are better suited for quicker loading speeds without sacrificing quality. There's a lot going on and how to fix that. But that's a solution. Hey, this landing page isn't loading fast enough. Let's fix it. That's a solution the media buyers should be presenting, and then we all help solve it. Third, not focusing on winning ad elements. So many times media buyers will always be trying to introduce new angles, new elements like image, headline, hook, call to action button, whatever it may be, instead of going more deep into what's already working. So your media buyer should be able to tell you, hey, this type of angle is working the best. This style of headline is working best, or this type of image, an image of a user holding the product is doing the best out of all the testing. Let's make more of that. Or a headline that speaks to the end benefit. That's what's working best. We need more of that. Or a headline that's speaking to the pain points of the consumer. That's working best. Let's get more of that. So that whole concept of taking winning elements and then keep making iterations based on that, as opposed to reinventing the wheel every time, is a huge mistake if you're not focusing on those winning ad elements, because you're always trying something new. It's gonna overspend in your testing. It's not gonna get you the results you want by always trying to introduce a brand new image. Hey, here's an image we've never used before. We think it's gonna be great. That novelty is part of our brains that just love novelty, but we need to counter that with no. Let's just see what's already working and just make a similar image. And people don't do that because maybe I don't know, maybe they think it seems too easy. Well, I'm working harder if I can add a whole new angle in it. No one cares about how hard you work. Your customers don't, your leads don't, your clients don't. They just want the results. So let's focus on that. A bonus thing that many media buyers don't do is they don't cross-reference their data or their platform data with the back-end data. So if you're using ClickFunnels to collect leads, your media buyer should be cross-referencing leads and ClickFunnels with what Facebook is showing the amount of leads to be. And same thing with purchases. If you're using Shopify, how many purchases is Shopify showing versus how many is Facebook showing? And now to get further granular into that, you'd probably want to have a platform like Hyros, Triple Whale, or Wicked Reports to get that data for you. With lead gen, it's a little bit easier, especially if your lead gen is going to a landing page that is only getting paid Facebook traffic. Now, it's beyond the scope of this video to talk about how to segment your data to know which source it came from. We can talk about that some other time. But your media buyer should talk about data that's not just platform data. And that way, that can help protect your clients and protect you from your clients being like, whoa, what's going on here? You told me there were 10 leads last week, but there's actually only 3. And your media buyer should be able to say that, like, listen, Facebook's reporting last week 50 purchases. But on Facebook side, we actually got 75. So here's the actual cost per purchase. And then you can do that same process for leads. Hey, Facebook's showing 50 leads at $10 a piece. However, on the back end, there was actually only 40 leads. So our true cost per lead is $17. And that way, there's just no surprises from the client, because a lot of clients, especially with lead gen, are hyper aware of how many leads they're getting. And so you don't want to tell them something that they're going to see is incorrect. They're going to then lose trust for you. So bonus mistake that a lot of media buyers make. Hope this was helpful. Any questions, let me know.